Hey, Seth David here from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated and the newly famous SethDavid.com. And I want to talk to you quickly about what's going on in the Nerdiverse this week. I've sort of beta tested and now I'm actually starting a webinar series every Friday from noon to 2, sometimes from noon to 2, sometimes for just an hour, somewhere in between that. I'll be doing a webinar every Friday afternoon on different subjects, so be sure to check the events section of my website at SethDavid.com. That's where all the upcoming events can be found. You'll see where you can register for the weekly Friday morning Zoom In with Seth David and Friends. That's free, of course. The webinar series, that one's going to cost about $97, I think, each webinar. So pick and choose which ones are going to be very valuable to you, and they'll always be up for purchase after the fact in case you decide later that you did want something that you didn't register for. Then we have this Friday's webinar, which is going to be on mastering inventory. I've done a few webinars previously using my old system, and those have been deprecated. So it's time for me to update all these webinars anyway. It's been at least a couple of years, sometimes more in some cases. So I pretty much wiped them all off the site at schoolofanswers.com, which is where you go to purchase this stuff. And we're going to start rolling out a webinar every single week on different subjects, starting with inventory. So mastering your inventory, we're going to start with very basic stuff. Buy low, sell high. How to record a purchase, make sure that you sell it for something more, and understanding the flow. We're going to look at the flow of the inventory cost from the balance sheet to the profit and loss. Then we're going to get into more advanced stuff. We're going to look at assemblies, inventory assemblies, the bill of materials, how that's created, how to calculate what it takes to put into a finished product to produce a single unit of output. That's what you need to know when you're creating your bill of materials. And we're, of course, going to take a look at what that flow looks like from the two different places on the balance sheet to its final resting place in cost of goods sold on the profit and loss. We'll look at advanced inventory where we can track locations, and we'll show you how to keep track of the locations and move inventory between locations. And then we're going to get into some of the other stuff that's really pertinent to inventory. At the end of this webinar, you should really feel that you have a new skill, if you're a bookkeeper or an accountant, that you can use to, frankly, make more money. One of the great things about becoming well-versed in inventory is a lot of people don't want to do it because it can be really complex. So take my webinar, you'll acquire a skill that you can use to charge more for your services because you'll have a skill that a lot of people just don't want to be bothered with. So, and if you're the business owner, learning this skill is going to definitely save you some time and money, because even if you hire a bookkeeper, you do want to have a good working knowledge of this stuff so that you can have a sense of whether or not that bookkeeper is doing his or her job properly. It's really important as a business owner also to be able to understand certain numbers in your business, especially if you sell inventory. You need to know what your margins are. You need to know how much of a markup you're charging. You need to know what your burden rates are so you get a sense after the initial gross profit on your products, what does it really take to break even on your inventory. There's all kinds of numbers that you need to be really aware of and have really front of mind whenever you're engaged in a conversation with suppliers or customers on what your products are and what you sell them for. Really important to have this understanding and understand how the inventory flows and works. So hopefully you'll join me this Friday, as of the time I'm recording this. If you get this after the webinar has come and gone, then of course it'll be in schoolofanswers.com. You'll just browse to the products area, you'll see a category for webinars, and you can browse there and you'll find mastering inventory in there, and you can purchase the webinar after the fact. You'll get a video file you can download and start watching it within minutes of paying for the product. As always, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.